Yes, Mr. King, you are very mighty, very brave. No, I'm by no means making fun. I'm impressed by your, headstrong attitude. I know you want to repay Philip and Evan and Sally as much as anyone, but you have to keep in mind that the entity is going to keep you powerless. Your aggressive style is admirable, but do be careful with it, please. I do not have any problems treating you, but I do wish you'd take better care of yourself. Yes, Mr. King, I'll watch my back, but you should watch yours. Give him a peace of mind, Mr. King. Say hi to Mr. Fairfield and maybe Miss Carlson for me. I haven't seen her for a little while, which is for the better, I'd say. Opening the gate. Do take care. Goodbye. Mr. King, truly the protagonist, in a sense, of the survivors. Never gives up, but maybe a little bit hot-headed. I never thought he would actually land a punch or something on one of the killers. Perhaps this is a sign of the entity's weakening control, and it could be time for me to move. But soon, sooner than later, I'm going to need help. Right on time, Miss Morrell. Or is that Miss Thomas? You both have impressively light footwork. Please do sit down and tell me your cause of death. Oh, and don't forget to sign in at the receptionist table. Well, first I was astounded by how quietly you were moving, but now I seem a little bit perplexed because I do not know who you are, and I know everyone that passes through this office. Yes, I understand you may have a lot of questions, and who I am might be the first on that list. Don't worry. I will answer your questions. But you must also answer some of mine, because the better that I know your situation, the better I can help you. So, first, please tell me, what was your cause of death? Yes, how you died and came here. You do not have one. You came here while living. Well, this is unexpected. Maybe not unheard of. Excuse me, there are too many wrinkles for me to work with. This is embarrassing. I apologize. Better. You're right. There doesn't seem to be hardly a scratch on you. Which then leads me to another question, which is of even more importance. How did you get here? Do you know? Do you have any memory? No. Well, that is even more curious because do you know what Earth you're from? Well, there is more than just one, you know. You don't. You may insist that there is only one Earth, but I assure you there are several across several dimensions, and I'd like to know if you know the code of your Earth. Something like D1137. You have no code. Alright, well, do you have any memory of being abducted by tentacles or a fog or spider legs, anything of the sort? Excuse me, I seem to have gotten wrinkled again. always good to have a filter in order. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. Tell me again if you had any knowledge of how you got here. No spooky fog or evil entity you might not recognize. Well, that is surprising. But it means something that I've done might have worked after all. You see, I have the ability to bring people to this space, and I have the ability to send them from it. People can sometimes find themselves in this space, and sometimes people can leave it of their own accord. The complexities are, well, complex and a little bit technical. However, I don't see the need to go into any crucial or over-explained details for now. What's most important is that this is a closed space. My office exists outside of time and outside of space. It is an extra-dimensional area that is linked only by the tendrils of the entity to the Horrorverse. Now, I suspect that if you are from the Earth that I believe you're from, you have some knowledge of these different, what you might see as games and movies that are linked to this Horrorverse. You see, your Earth, our Earth, is a news dimension, a special place linked by the entity that seems to have an ability to gain knowledge of all the happenings of the Horrorverse, yet never directly interact. Until now. I have discovered Earth's relic by accident. You see, there's a way to travel between these closed spaces, these outside of Earth, these Horrorverse dimensions, these closed timelines. There is a way to enter them. And it seems I found a way to make contact with my old Earth. Who did win the war, by the way? I've always been morbidly curious. Which one? Well, I suppose not the War of 1812 or something as far-fetched as that. The war I was a part of was called the Great War. It was the war to end all wars. The Allied powers. Who? America. Well, I suppose that makes me feel a little bit patriotic at heart. And yes, that was the last war I was a part of. I assume that time has flowed a bit outside of what I can grasp there. I see. Well, there are a few things, a few formalities we need to get out of the way then, and some crucial information that you'll need to continue this connection that we have, or to decline it entirely. It seems that I've accidentally used a relic that is connected to Earth, something that symbolizes a deep connection with Earth, that is in relation to the Horrorverse. My mask. This has connected you to this dimension, and I believe it could connect many more people from your Earth, people from this news dimension that seem to have an ability to travel more freely through these closed spaces. However, before we get to something that I don't believe I have any right to ask you, let's go over some patient information. I'd love to have a file on you, because if you ever need help, you can always come here, and I can take care of you. So, Please tell me your name, and feel free to spell it out. I have dealt with those from all dimensions, and I suppose I've never really gotten the knack for understanding when some letters are silent or out of the ordinary. Go ahead. And your last name. Thank you. Would you be so kind as to tell me your age? You look quite mature for that age. I'm going to need people like you. No, that's not meant as an insult, by any means. It's meant as a compliment, because even those that are older can sometimes lack the sanity and the groundedness that I need to help. I need to do a small inspection of you to make sure your health is in working order. Not only because I need you to be healthy, but also because I want you to be healthy. Some find it a little bit strange that I care so much for strangers. But I really just want the world, if I can call where I am a world anymore, to be a happy place. First, I need to check your scalp. No bruises or bumps, cuts, abrasions, burns, lacerations, anything of the sort. You know what's quite interesting? You're quite healthy. No history of lice either, I see. And down to your neck. Glands seem in order. Your pulse is strong, healthy. Shoulders, arms, chest, stomach. All 9 areas seem perfectly fine. Hypogastric, epigastric, etc. You have a fine back, if you don't mind me saying. No, nothing so suggestive of the sort. I'm simply impressed by the musculature of your core. It shall support you well, both physically and maybe even emotionally to come. And I see nothing wrong with your legs or feet or anything of the sort. I don't mean to be so casual on our first meeting. I just mean to make sure that you are in good health. Can you breathe for me? I need to be able to check the working of your internal organs. I know you've been breathing all this time, but I would like to be able to feel your lungs and heartbeat. I understand that many doctors from where you are still do this on a hearing basis, and that may be ideal, but I don't really have a lot to work with in this closed space, so I make do. Instead, I would just like to be able to feel your heart, if you do not mind. I need to note the workings of the tricuspid and bicuspid valves, each of the 4 compartments, the quadrants. And I need to be able to understand if it is strong enough for what's to come. And to the other side of your chest, near the sternum. If you'll pardon me, there's just a few wrinkles on your clothing I need to smooth out. This is understandable, but I must get rid of these. I think that's better. You may yourself feel a bit more organized. Please breathe in for me, deeply. And exhale. Please breathe in again. And exhale once again. Breathe in this time, but when you reach the apex of your breath, please hold it for 5 seconds, and I will count with you. Inhale. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. It seems that your organs are in perfect working order, at least the critical ones that keep you alive. You see, I was never a fully trained doctor myself, but I did receive a lot of experience on the battlefield. Medics are meant to comfort patients, but I went above and beyond to treat them, even the ones that were untreatable. They didn't all make it, but I believe that it's most important to do your best and save who you can than to give up on those who might be furthest from death. Now, I have a few questions to answer of yours, and a few questions I need answered. My name is Dr. Vivid. And while this all may seem like a vivid dream, this is quite real, I can assure you. Earth's dimension is a news dimension, as I've said. You can gain information on all these different aspects of the Horrorverse, linked and intertwined by the entity's grasp. Some not yet knotted, but strands nonetheless. I am attempting to stop the entity from spreading any further. This virus needs to be contained, but I lack the abilities to do it myself. My goal is to gain access to relics of many realms, find out if there are any relics that can help me, tie together aspects of the Horrorverse myself under the nose of the entity, and find out how to stop it. The entity will not know a thing. It cannot check this realm. It foolishly set this up as an attempt to treat those that it murdered. It wants to feed on hope. It has me here to feed its victims hope, and while I may do that, I also feed them true kindness and sanity. I want to keep the people that are trapped in the entity's realm alive and well. And I want you to help me. Please, if you feel so inclined, I would like to gather more from Earth, to gain a force, and send expeditions between these different closed dimensions to gather relics and tie realms together. I need to find the strongest people from Earth and the strongest from the Horrorverse to find a way to stop the entity. My question is,